In that courtroom, what precisely transpired? It's not pretty, really. Camron unleashed a bombshell that may terminate careers, not just some rumor. Although Jim Jones has always been linked to scandal, a shocking revelation regarding his relationship with Chrissy Lumpkin has led to the notorious rapper with a history of dubious activities suffering harsh repercussions. Wait, did Camron actually just reveal Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin's secrets in court? Yes, you heard correctly. The hip-hop industry is known for its drama, treachery, and tumultuous romantic relationships. But what Camron just disclosed in that courtroom elevates the situation to a completely new level. Let's dissect this. The rapper Jim Jones, who has always been all about the gangster mindset and the street life, is currently under a lot of criticism. Like they often do, will they somehow slither out of this one? You won't believe what Camron reveals next, so pay attention. Left in utter disbelief, let's take a quick look back for those of you who may have missed it. Chrissy Lumpkin enters the picture. Jim Jones and Camron were once the dominant duo of the rap game. But as we all know, even the best unions have their breaking points. Don't misunderstand. Chrissy Lumpkin is more than just Jim Jones's accomplice. She has been involved in a number of scandals, and her name has drawn attention to the courtroom. Been a part of the drama since the start. But when Camron revealed the truth in court, it wasn't just about Jim Jones. It was about exposing the network of dishonesty and lies that had been boiling for years. Was there something much more sinister going on behind closed doors? Or was Chrissy Lumpkin just Jim Jones's encouraging girlfriend? The accusations are considerably worse than anyone could have imagined. And Camron just gave the most incendiary response to that question. But first, let's examine the background of all this craziness before we get into it. Camron's career has been based on controversy and street cred, so he's now thinking, what if this entire image has been a front? Being neat and following the rules won't bring you to the top. Chrissy Lumpkin, on the other hand, has stood by his side through it all, making her own legacy. Her most well-known part was on Love and Hip Hop, where her ride-or-die attitude was captured on camera non-stop. However, is it truly the case, or is there something more sinister and ominous at work? Camron eventually makes the decision to come clean after years of keeping quiet. When Camron entered the stand, he wasn't holding back, according to unnamed sources. Camron reportedly had access to Jim Jones's private correspondence with Chrissy Lumpkin, and what he found was nothing short of horrifying. This is the first bombshell, which nobody anticipated coming. During the height of Jim Jones's popularity, Camron revealed in one of his claims that Chrissy Lumpkin had been heavily involved in some questionable actions, ruin their reputation. We're talking about illicit actions, money laundering, private meetings with dubious individuals, you name it. It's not just about what they did, though. It's truly shocking is how they've been able to conceal it for so long. Camron just blew open that section. Jim Jones, you see, has never disclosed his commercial activities. He has amassed millions of dollars and maintained a spotless public image, but there has been a whole other world of business going on behind the scenes. Even the most devoted admirers were forced to reconsider all they thought they knew about Jim Jones after Camron, who claims to have the receipts, disclosed them in that courtroom. Camron's revelations will keep you up at night. We're discussing betrayals that go deeper than anyone could have guessed. Secret friendships and high-stakes financial games. On the surface, Chrissy Lumpkin has always been Jim Jones's loyal girlfriend, but she is actually far more involved in his dubious operations than we ever realized. The disclosures keep flowing, and Camron isn't finished yet. Not to mention how Chrissy Lumpkin and Jim Jones have always tried to uphold their reputations. They've always been portrayed as a devoted together couple, haven't they? Well, it's all been a show, Camron says. Camron just pulled the curtain back on everything that had been orchestrated by the mastermind behind much of the drama. What precisely did Camron disclose in court then? Was Chrissy Lumpkin or Jim Jones the one tugging strings the whole time? The entire relationship, according to Camron, has been based on dubious dealings, deceit, and manipulation. As the story began to develop, the world was shocked. But how did Jim Jones respond? Did he realize it was over? Or was he ready to fight back? What role does Chrissy Lumpkin play in all of this, too? Everyone is looking for answers, and trust me when I say that things will only grow more bizarre from here. But wait, because things are going to become even stranger. Other leaks are starting to come to light as the inquiry goes on. So Camron isn't the only one with dirt. The surprising specifics of how Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin would handle this entire situation will be revealed in the next segment. This controversy is only just beginning. It's far from over, so stay tuned. After introducing the characters and setting the atmosphere, it's time to unveil the main focus of the controversy, the extent of what Camron just said in that courtroom. Furthermore, this is not your normal celebrity feud. Rather, it's the kind of drama that causes you to reconsider all of your preconceived notions about the individuals you have been seeing for years. Although it is well known that Camron and Jim Jones have had issues, the tension was apparent as soon as Camron walked into the courtroom. It was more than just two longtime friends disclosing personal information. It was about exposing years of dishonesty and deception that would bring Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin to ruin. I mean, downright illegal when I say dodgy. You won't believe how much dirt Camron has been hiding. So let's take a look at what he revealed. For those unaware, Jim Jones has long been a well-known personality in the rap industry, renowned for his. Camron said Jim Jones was not only managing a rap career, but also a business. And this wasn't the type of business you'd want the world to know about. In addition to his relationship with Dipset and his strong ties to street culture, Camron claims that Chrissy Lumpkin and Jim Jones were key players in a multi-state money laundering scam. They were transferring money through shell companies that set up fake businesses to hide the true source of their income, rather than simply living the high life on the money made by the music industry. And you know who was with him right there? The woman Chrissy Lumpkin has developed a profession as the loyal, helpful girlfriend and is said to have been the brains of this whole scheme. Anyone would question how much we actually know about our favorite reality TV stars after seeing how she worked behind the scenes. However, Camron disclosed receipts that demonstrated Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin were laundering millions of dollars through expensive products and fraudulent real estate firms. The money laundering was not limited to a few dubious transactions here and there. The fact that they managed to conceal it for so long is the most startling aspect. That's not all, though. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin have been depicted in the media as the power couple, but beneath their glitzy smiles and ride-or-die attitude, there was always a problem. We're starting to realize the truth now because of Camron's evidence in court. According to Camron, Chrissy Lumpkin was present at these sessions and assisted in negotiating agreements. But given the degree of corruption and risky relationships they engaged in, you have to question how widespread this issue actually is. We are discussing offshore accounts, wire payments, and long-standing tax avoidance. It gets worse. It appears that Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin were not only keeping the money hidden from the government, but also from the public and team, keeping those who were connected in the dark to avoid any possible leaks. The reports detailed how they would move millions of dollars through fictitious companies and foreign bank accounts. Indeed, according to unnamed sources inside their camp, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin were well known for employing coercive methods to keep people. Fans who had adored Jim Jones for years started to doubt everything when the globe was startled by the shocking trial revelations. Camron completely destroyed what had seemed to be a well-planned portrayal of a successful rapper and his devoted fiancée, which was starting to resemble a house of cards. Camron discreetly disclosed the identities of those who claimed to have been intimidated by Jim Jones and his inner entourage. It is now clear that their empire was founded on deceit, fear, and secrecy rather than just skill. Other members of the industry, like producers, insiders, and other rappers, were starting to speak up. Others, especially those who were associated with the hip-hop underground, were eager to believe the accusations because of the proof, while others were quick to support Jim Jones and Chrissy Lumpkin. claiming that Camron was just resentful and seeking revenge. There was no going back once Camron's proof went viral, so he wasn't just talking. Chrissy Elkin herself gave one of the most shocking answers, making a declaration that rocked the business. In the media, she refuted the charges and charged Camron with trying to destroy her and Jim Jones's reputation. People were taken aback by her response's tone, which came across as defensive and icy rather than sincere. Although we can't be certain, the lack of transparency was definitely worrisome. The legal fallout is only beginning now that the public is aware of what Camron said in court. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin have already been the target of multiple lawsuits. There are rumors of conspiracy, money laundering, and even the pressure of personal and professional lives. Rumors concerning Jim Jones and Chrissy Elkin's future together have been fueled by their public separation. Will Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin stay together, or is this the start of their breakup? The worst aspect is that there might be serious consequences, such as jail time, millions in fines, and public humiliation. If the federal government actually investigates this, Jim Jones's and Chrissy Lampkin's lives, the media, and the streets are still feeling the effects of Camron's startling testimony as the dust settles. We're just starting to explore the wide-ranging effects of this incident and how it will alter their lives. Let's examine the possible consequences of all of this, though, as there is still a lot to consider. The turmoil in the media and in court is only getting hotter. You won't want to miss what happens next, so pay attention. Long-term impacts and the serious consequences they are currently facing. Let's start by talking about the legal consequences that Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin faced following Camron's disclosures. According to legal experts, a conviction on the money laundering accusations alone may result in decades in prison. This is the type of case that lands people in federal jail, not a minor legal issue they can overlook. We're talking about allegations of organized crime and racketeering if the federal government starts investigating the underworld ties Camron described. Authorities are currently looking into bank accounts, real estate transactions, and business activities that might link Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin to broader criminal enterprises as part of their investigation, which is already spread across multiple states. Camron's evidence has essentially unleashed a torrent of scrutiny, encompassing anything from offshore accounts to luxury real estate holdings. Authorities will find more the more they investigate, and this might lead to some very significant criminal charges. The walls are closing in and the clock is running out. Now, let's discuss the public's reaction. Every action you do as a celebrity is closely watched. So you can't simply hide behind a hasty apology or a public relations statement when something like this occurs to a fan. The harm has been done. On social media, the hashtag #TunnerJim Jones exposed went popular, and memes are already widely available online. The long-term damage to their brands is the true issue here, but we've all seen the jokes, the criticism, and the public humiliation that accompany a celebrity's collapse. Love hip-hop, but Camron ruined that reputation. Not to mention the rappers and celebrities who are now shunning them. Their once adoring fans are now questioning everything they previously thought. As a result of this controversy, those who formerly hailed them as inspirations or role models are now silent, and some are even turning away. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin's efforts to rebuild their reputations are hampered by the public's perception of other celebrities shunning them. Shame, alienation, and irrelevance are all part of this vicious cycle. The impact on their private lives comes next. The relationship between Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin is currently the subject of intense examination following Camron's shocking court statements. Rumors of infidelity, manipulation, and financial difficulties have cast doubt on the previously solid public perception of them as a couple who have supported one another through thick and thin. Fans are starting to question whether Jim and Chrissy's relationship is over. The truth is that their relationship may never fully recover from this disaster. They will have a hard time getting over the fact that the private turmoil is now public. One thing is certain, regardless of whether they remain together as a couple, this scandal has changed the nature of their relationship. And things will only get worse from here. But it transcends interpersonal connections and public opinion. There will be serious financial repercussions. In the past, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lamon were the quintessential affluent, prosperous celebrities living in luxury with private planes and real estate transactions. However, the money laundering and other alleged criminal acts that Camron disclosed have put their financial world in danger. If the government inquiry leads to convictions, they could very well file for bankruptcy, and their assets are being frozen. These aren't just minor penalties. This isn't the Hollywood dream they were living before. Instead, it's a nightmare that might ruin everything they've achieved over the years. Camron's testimony has also already made its way into the mainstream media, with some outlets referring to it as the decade's biggest scandal and others suggesting that it would spell the end for Jim Jones and company. The financial repercussions might be so bad that they have to sell off their houses, businesses, and even expensive cars if this case goes to trial and they are proven guilty. As the court fights continue, the media will continue to follow Chrissy Teigen's career, and trust me when I say that the more notoriety they get, the more they will be dragged through the dirt. Every element of their lives will be examined and analyzed during a public trial by fire that they must endure. Let's now talk about what will happen next. Will Chrissy Lamon and Jim Jones be able to salvage their personal and professional lives? Or will their ascent to stardom come to an end? It's hard to think of a situation in which they get out of this undamaged since Camron's testimony has already altered the rules. Their best chance is to receive a lighter punishment in a public court. One thing is certain as we wrap up this investigation, Camron did not merely divulge a few dubious facts. He initiated a chain of events that may lead fans to reconsider their loyalty, celebrities to reconsider their behavior, and even the media to reconsider how they present their stars. Ultimately, it's possible that Jim Jones and Chrissy Lamon will never be able to restore their reputations or go back to how things were before Camron revealed that shocking information. For years to come, the effects will be felt. Totally ruined Jim Jones and Chrissy Lamon's lives. And even though the legal disputes are still pending, their reputations have already suffered. Will this be the final nail in the coffin for this once dominant pair, or will they be able to get out of the mess they created for themselves? One thing is certain, they will never be the same again. Only time will tell. The consequences of this affair are only growing worse now that Jim Jones and Chrissy Lamon have been fully exposed. We aren't sure how far we'll go, but the legal battles, the public outcry, and their financial downfall are all occurring faster than anyone could have predicted. Believe me, this isn't just their story. It's everyone's story. So please share your ideas in the space provided for comments below. We have only just begun to uncover the truth. To ensure you don't miss any of the juicy details we have coming, up next, don't forget to ring the bell and like this video for more exclusive exposes. The shadows conceal secrets. Which more famous people could be involved? I assure you that this narrative is far from ended, and we will be here to explain everything to you. Nowhere else will you see.